extent of his power cannot be put into words.
Darth Nihilus, the Lord of Hunger. You just saw a clip of Nihilus consuming your entire planet and reducing it to ash. But who is Darth Nihilus and what are his origins? In his early life, he was a Mandalorian who was a farmer. He served in the Great Mandalorian Wars, and on the final battle of the Mandalorian Wars at Malachori 5, the Mass Shadow Generator, a super weapon that could compress everything on the planet and in orbit, was activated, killing nearly everyone there. However, two notable people survived this battle: Meetra Surik, more on her later, and of course, Nihilus. After the deaths of many in one location in nearly instant, echoes were created in the Force, causing wounds to be made in the Force. 2 wounds were made that day and were in the forms of Nihilus and Meetra Surik. Each wound would have immense power in whatever side of the Force they tapped into. Nihilus, of course, chose the dark side, not able to cope with the deaths of his comrades and family. After consuming himself with hate, anger, and passion for revenge, he gained the need to consume others' Force essence in order to survive. Some unknown time after this, he then found his way to the Trier Academy. Here he found Darth Trier, who would become his master. Later, like all Sith, he would try and kill her, and failed. He fled aboard his flagship, the Ravager, an old Sith ship that was falling apart, held together by Nihilus' dark side powers. Shortly after this, Nihilus came to the realization that his constant need for Force life was destroying his body. He chose to consume it and rip out his spurt and imprint it into his mask. After this, his powers only grew. Just being in his presence would cause you to slowly be drained of life. Around this time, a large gathering of Jedi was happening on a world where every native was Force sensitive. The Jedi were meeting to discuss the hidden powers destroying them, oblivious that their large gathering alerted Nihilus through the Force. Nihilus had the power to sense large gathers of Force users, which had huge amounts of life to drain from. When he arrived at the planet, he drained it of all life, killing everyone on the planet, except for one native who would become his apprentice. Her name was Visas Ma, who was considered blind but could see via the Force. She would be the one to inform Nihilus of a Jedi they believed to be one of the last Jedi alive, gathering the remaining Jedi to meet together again to try and defeat the Sith. Nihilus had her follow this Jedi to bring her to him. She met the Jedi on Nar Shaddaa, where they would briefly fight, but she would get beat easily by the Jedi. Once defeated, she almost instantly switched sides and said she was loyal to the Jedi, who was in fact a Jedi exile. And the other wound in the Force, her name was Meetra Surik, who had the power to easily convince anyone near her to be loyal to her. She was unknowingly being led by Nihilus' old master Trier, who wanted to kill him and use Meetra to destroy the entire Force. Trier, going by Kreia, would lead and manipulate Meetra into doing what she wanted. Once all the Jedi were gathered, she tipped off someone who would go tell Nihilus where to find the Jedi. Kreia killed all the Jedi gathered as they were going to attempt to cut Meetra off from the Force, which would ruin her plan. After killing them, she led Meetra to Telos, where she also had led Nihilus. She had done this as she knew only another wound in the Force could kill Nihilus. When Nihilus arrived at Telos, he began to bombard the planet and was moving into range to suck the Force out of it. Meetra made her way onto the Ravager. She was accompanied by Visas Ma, Nihilus' former apprentice. In the beginning of the fight, it looked hopeless for Meetra and Visas. However, Meetra cut herself from the Force and resisted Nihilus, who she then killed. When killed, Visas took the mask off Meetra, asked what she saw. She said she saw a regular man, nothing else. This concludes Nihilus' story. I hope everyone watching liked the video. If you did, then please like, comment, and subscribe, and leave in the comments any question about Star Wars you may have. I'm going to conclude the video with what Nihilus sounded like. Catch everyone in the next video.
I have felt it too, my lord. A disturbance in the Force. It was difficult to make out, my lord. At first it was such a quiet thing. I did not notice it. But now I wonder as if it has always been there. I merely could not hear it before. The sound built so slowly. Yet when you listen for it, you can make out the strains, even over the background life of the universe. Do you feel it is a... You are the darkness in which all life dies, my lord. All life exists to feed your power. And my life is yours. I beg you, please, let me die. Yes, this disturbance echoes through the Force. I can follow it to its source and bring it to you. I will leave at once, my lord.